Good morning. Welcome to the Community for Conscious Living weekly live broadcast. Today is Sunday, August 11th of 2019. The Community for Conscious Living is a community dedicated to personal transformation for universal harmony, healing the planet by making inspired changes in ourselves and in our daily lives to create a sustainable environment and a peaceful world. Today's guest is Amina Deb Lewis, who is a dear friend and someone who I love and respect and admire, and I'm very excited to have this time with her today. I'll tell you guys how this came about. Amina and I were talking the other day, and you know, we don't talk as often as I would like us to, of course, and when we do, it's catch-up time, and it's always a wonderful experience. And Amina Deb started telling me about what's going on in her life and her latest experiences. And as she so beautifully does, she was bringing it into what it was informing her of in her life journey, her soul journey on this planet Earth. And she just dropped into transmitting this beautiful spiritual teaching in the way that, you know, with her stories and everything, in the way that she does, that is moving and engaging and everything else. And I said, oh, Amina, you got to come on Sunday. And fortunate for me and for all of us that she agreed and was able to come in. So I'm excited to have her today. I'm going to go ahead and call us into our prayer and healing circle and get us set our container. And then I'll unmute Amina Deb and let her share her beauty with us. So let's come into our prayer and healing circle. In the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate. Let's all take a deep breath and drop into our bodies. And let's come into our prayer and healing circle. Imagine us all sitting together in one circle, sitting side by side, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, knee to knee, side by side, creating a beautiful circle, a beautiful container for our time together today. And let's bring our faces and our senses, all of our sensory organs, our eyes, our ears, our nose, our mouth, all of our attention, our mental focus and attention into the center of our circle. And together, let's call on our source, the name of the one. We call on you. We ask you to please send your essence of your pure divine light. Just imagine or perceive in whatever way you do this essence, this stream of divine light, streaming into the center of our circle. Imagine this essence streaming in, and turn all of your senses to face directly into this light. And breathe this in, breathing it in, filling your lungs, filling all of the core of your being with this pure essence of divine light. And as you exhale, bring your heart center, that funnel of energy that extends from the front of your heart space, bring that to face into the center of our circle. And imagine if you have an eye right in the center of that heart space. Face that eye into the center of our circle, facing directly into this stream of light, this essence of pure divine light. And let's call on our source. We ask you, please send your essence of your pure, unconditional love. And imagine this stream, or perceive in whatever way you do, feel it if you can, this stream of this pure divine light and unconditional love streaming into the center of our circle, and breathe this in. And as you exhale, relax, release, and soften. Let your heart space, your heart center become soft. And as you breathe in directly through your heart center. If it helps you can put your hands over the center of your heart space and focus your breath beneath your hands. And imagine that funnel of energy that extends from the front of your heart space, facing directly into that stream of divine light and unconditional love. You can tip that funnel up slightly and breathe in through that portal, as if your heart center is a breathing portal, breathing this essence of divine light and unconditional love right into your heart center. As you exhale, relax, release, and let your heart space become softened. Let your exhale carry away any of the clutter or the blocks or the barriers that are hanging out in your heart space, keeping this essence of divine light and unconditional love from flowing freely through your heart and through your body. Breathing this in. And as you exhale, bring your hara, which is that ball of energy at the front of your belly space, bring that to face into the center of our circle also. And welcome your belly and your hara, your body, to be present with all of you facing into this stream of divine light and unconditional love, breathing it in. And let's call again directly on our source. We ask you to please send your essence of your eternal compassion, this compassion that exists well beyond our time and space reality, this space that we perceive so readily from our humanity. Just imagine and perceive, feel if you can, this essence of divine light, An-Nur, unconditional love, Al-Wadud, and the eternal compassion, Ar-Rahman. Imagine this streaming into the center of our circle, breathing this in. And as you exhale, relax, release, and soften, and let this pour into the core of your body, infusing all of your oxygen, all of your fluids, all of your tissues, every cell with this vibration of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion. As you breathe this in, let it circulate to every cell of your body. Invite every cell of your body to open and receive this vibration. As every cell carries consciousness, allow the consciousness of every cell of your body to be infused with this vibration, to be infused with this knowing of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion, which is actually cleansing your consciousness and returning you to the essence of what you know in the depths of your being. This essence of pure divine light, of unconditional love, of eternal compassion. Breathe with this. And now as you breathe, inhale, draw your energy in to the core of your body, from wherever it may be. And as you exhale, drop down into your body and let your consciousness land into your physical space. And again, as you inhale, as Neil Douglas Klotz likes to say in his book, The Sufi Book of Life, call to the cacophony of all of your selves and gather them into your core. Bringing all of you into the core of your being to join in unity at your core, resting in this essence of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion. And again, as you exhale, drop down into your pelvic girdle and your pelvic floor. Feel your energy to be present in your body, to move through your hips, through your legs, through your ankles and your feet. Stretch out your feet and your toes. Feel your presence all the way at the soles of your feet. And feel your body resting on the earth. I invite you to continue to breathe in this essence of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion that fills our circle and contains our circle and everything within it, above it, below it, beyond it. As we move into our time today with Amina Deb Lewis, I'll tell you a little bit about Amina Deb. Amina she's a beautiful soul and a beautiful body and a beautiful being, the whole package. And she's studied with the same spiritual teacher as me, Sheikh Muhammad Jamal, and with his daughter-in-law, Fawzia, who has written the book, Divine Names, that we read from often on this prayer and healing circle. And Amina she's been a seeker and a student in esoteric, spiritual, and scientific studies for over 40 years. She has a beautiful gift in sharing her various perspectives and tools on living your individual, unique truth to its fullest capacity possible. She gives beautiful transmission and beautiful stories, and she has a way of taking the things of daily life and really seeing the beauty, the light, the gifts, the teachings in the things that are so present and available for us in every moment. And she has a beautiful way of sharing that. And that's one of the things I love and appreciate about you, Amina Deb. So let me get over here to unmute you. You are. Thank you, Amina Deb. So you were telling me about what you've been experiencing lately in your life that has really given you some guidance and clear insights on how all of us can find guidance in our lives.
Yes, and
so,
thank you.
Please share.
And thank you so much for your kind words, and also for such a beautiful, beautiful opening meditation, because it is so appropriate, for what I have to share. And let me just warn everybody. I saw a little poster one time that I think summed me up perfectly, and it read, "Most confuse crazy with passionate. Let me be perfectly clear. I am batshit passionate." And so, and this has just kind of been my latest journey and endeavor. And how it all came about is I was sitting in meditation, and over kind of the period of the ending of last year, it became very clear that enlightenment and expanded consciousness was not necessarily evolution. And a lot of people, me included, love hanging out in those outer blissy realms, and that's fine. But that's not evolution. We can expand and grow and have all of these amazing, wonderful experiences out there. But if you want to evolve, as an individual, and then assist others, assist the earth in evolution as well, it's about embodying what it is that you experience when you have these outer blissy states. So I then began really asking about, and I don't know about you, but I've been reading a lot and hearing a lot, particularly this year, about needing to embody all of this. And so my question and my prayer was, well, how do you do it? How do you really embody something? Because it sounds easy enough, but I don't know. I kind of like the nuts and bolts of how to. And
right.
That,
and and I'll just say that's what we're all about in the community for conscious living. It is about how do. So this is perfect. It is about, okay, all of this that we desire in the depths of our being to live in our highest light, in our deepest truth, and all of that, when feet hit the ground and when we're face to face with all of the things of the world and our lives and ourselves and the people that we live with and all of this, how do we do it? Because it's one thing to be in the bliss of the meditation and the spiritual experiences and that, and have this wonderful experience, and then, you know, like me, move home with your family, and you kind of got to go, woo, adjust.
Yeah.
So,
and you know, and the words that we hear, like embodiment, it sounds so easy. But then when you sit there and go, okay, but, you know, but what are the practical nuts and bolts of it? So how this then unfolded for me was through a synchronicity of events that led me in February to start taking dancing lessons. And I started taking a variety of dancing lessons, and each week, and I think I was studying like 5 or 6 different dances each week, and have continued to do so. And let me talk about, you know, just general dance, you know, to kind of begin with, that started striking me as, wait a minute, there's something here. Because in these classes, you know, they talk about alignment and staying in alignment. I'm like, oh, I've heard this a lot before. And
right.
and they were like, yeah, you know, your waist is not a joint. Your hips are the joint, not your waist. Stop using your waist as a joint. And so really point your spine up and literally lift the energy, just like we did in the meditation. Lift the energy from that pelvic floor, that ball from your solar plexus, and lift up through your diaphragm, but in a relaxed way. You know, just feel that alignment going up. And so it's like, okay. And so in dance, you could really feel that, because you could feel if that alignment was off, you know, in any way. It was because you'd lose your balance. And it was like, keep your shoulders. Most people want to like pull their shoulders back and kind of stick their chest out. It's like, no, that throws you off balance. It's not really in alignment. If you're in alignment and really pulling up from the floor of your power, from that pelvic area, up through your spine, and you know, have it literally coming out the crown of your head, then your shoulders are going to point straight out to the side, straight right, straight left. They're not going to be back. And in that position, your arms can be loose. We're going to talk more about the arms in a minute. And then they're teaching how balance and movement comes from your thighs. And you think about how large our thigh muscles are, and the muscles that connect to our hips. So when we're in balance and we're moving and standing from that place of power, which are our thighs, then you can maintain that balance and you can maintain that alignment. And so it's much easier to really dance. But the important thing that really got me, so I'm hearing all these things and I'm like going, yeah, this is applicable, yeah. But what really got me was when they started talking about maintaining connection. And it is as a dancer that follows the follow position rather than the leader position, it is the job and the responsibility of the person who's following the dance, not the leader, the follower, to maintain a connection. And I say maintain the connection of a level 5 at all points in time. And what that means is that if I'm not touching, and 5 is what? It's the number for peace, right? Peace, salam, number 5. And that connection would be energetically, if I'm not touching my dance partner at all, that's a level 0. If he has me holding me up above his head, supporting 100% my body weight over his head, that's a level 10. So it's my job to maintain that level 5. But I've got to maintain it with loose arms to be flexible. The connection comes from my body, from leaning into the hand that he has on my back. If he releases that hand from my back and then is directing me to turn or something, well, then now my connection is with that hand. And now then I maintain that level 5 connection with that hand, the whole time, throughout the turn, throughout whatever it is he's telling me to do. Then whenever we slip back into that dance frame, now then I settle back into the hand that he has on my back, not by pushing into it, but through balance and alignment, settling back into it. And I really and truly. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, because that just struck me, you said not by pushing back into it, but by leaning into it. So not by exerting the force. No. And I'm thinking of, that sometimes we, when we're on the spiritual journey or we're trying to heal.
Yes.
It's like, I'm going to heal no matter what, it's like, we almost, it becomes like a striving, almost a race to, push through to the healing. So, just bringing that further into that analogy, not by forcing and pushing, but by leaning and dropping in and allowing.
And how you lean in, drop, and allow is using your body, using that alignment that you have, that you settle back in.
Yes, and it is a conscious use of the will.
It is, but it's a conscious use of the will to relax into rather than push against. And what really struck me about all of this, just dumbfounded struck me, is because, and I'll speak for myself, and I think I speak for many others too, after we just get pulverized by this life, most of us tend to end up in a place where we're no longer who we always thought we were. And so then it's now what? And kind of like what you were saying, when we reach that point, then we start running away from our past. And we start running towards some idealized vision or desire, etc. And in this case, like you just mentioned, like healing. Well, okay, we're going to run away from the past where we didn't feel ourselves to be whole in some way, and now we're going to run towards this being whole, being healed, doing this, doing that. And really, it's about understanding that we're meant to bring all we truly are to this life in this moment. And how, to me, that becomes so relevant, particularly with this dance and like we were talking about, relaxing into the hand. If you think about your back and the hand that's on your back as our past, Well, kind of jumping back to the dance for a second, if you're dancing with somebody, and you're in that position of being the follow, where you're going to follow where this leader is going to take you, you're dancing backwards. You can't see where you're going. You don't know anything. You have to trust that that partner isn't going to steer you into a wall, a pole, other dancers, or whatever. Because you're not always looking back over your shoulder. If you're really staying connected in that moment, you're in a place of trusting your partner. So what I'm taking is I'm taking these principles of dance and I'm applying them to life. And saying, okay, life, I'm going to dance with you. I'm going to dance with you. And you're going to be my leader. And I'm going to follow. Mm-hmm. And that means being blind to where I'm going. You had a question? Comment?
I was just going to invite everybody for a minute to just feel that. Feel the energy of that. What does that feel like in your life to just make that statement? Be present in your life and make that statement. I'm going to dance with my life, and I'm going to let my life be the leader.
And
take a deep breath.
Willing to not know where you're going.
Yeah.
That's the biggie, because we want to control where we're going. We want to control what it looks like. And that's called backleading. And leaders can't lead you when you're backleading.
Mm.
You cannot dance with your partner if you want to direct the show in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
So take a deep breath and take that in.
Yeah. Because then we're going to unfold yet a whole nother layer.
Okay.
So, yeah, let everybody get settled with this first. I'll let you lead us in that before we take the next step into the deep end of the pool here.
Yeah. Well, I think it's key, and I hope, and, maybe, Deb, at the end there will be time, or maybe we could do it now. Yeah, I'll say what I'm going to say and then let you decide. But when Amina Deb at the beginning was talking about the posture and the alignment and, and the loose arms and the, the spine and where your strength is. And, I like to lead us on things sometimes where we really feel that center of gravity at the lower dantian, and let that be like the place that we, where we maintain balance as we move through that place, and with a aligned spine. And maybe if we could just feel that, because it's important to be in that posture and maintain your balance so that as life is leading you, you're not falling all over the place, right? That's a very key part of it as well.
But see it kind of as you have this pool, that lower area, the dantian, that you're pulling up from through your spine, through your alignment. And then, from that place, you're using your power, which is in our thigh muscles and our glutes and all of that. You're using your power to move from that place of alignment. And so you have that core that then you're drawing from up through this alignment of your spine. And yet at the same time, it's extending downward and into the power of how you move. And now I want to talk about the arms and why it's so important that they stay loose. In the, esoteric traditions, and they pretty much all agree on this, the arms really kind of are about our choices. And you know, when we're presented with various opportunities, or do we do this, or do we do that, or this is what I'm feeling, am I going to react this way, or am I going to engage like this? That's your arms. So it's important in dance to keep them loose so you can feel the subtleties. And so that way the hands of your leader, in our case we're talking about leader being life, you can feel where it's moving you. And because you don't have stiff arms, now you have flexibility in your choices in how we live life. Does that make sense? The minute we start tensing our arms, our choices and how we respond to life is limited. When they're loose, now then, you know, all of the choices open up. And so then we can then move with how life, you know, we can feel better. We have more options. So any further on that before we dive into the deep end of the pool?
I just want to remind people to, you know, just feel this in your body as Amina's talking. And I know I'm over here, I'm like, okay, aligning and feeling and letting the flow and feeling that. You can feel, you know, when you have that alignment, and as she says, you know, draw that pool of energy up from your dantian through your spine and feel your connection with your hips and your thighs and that groundedness and the loose arms and the, you know, and the aligned shoulders, as you mentioned earlier. Just so I'm inviting you to feel this and play with the feeling of it in your body as she's guiding us. Okay, back to you, Deb.
Okay. So now here's the bugaboo that really blew me away. And this is what I have been playing with for these past 6 months or so that I have found to be truly transformational. And it deals with our past. And really feel your past for a second. Because in your past is exactly that place where, as Mastura brought up in the opening meditation, our past is where that cacophony of all of our selves reside. The selves that have been hurt, marginalized, kicked aside, wounded, all of it. That's in our past. And where in dancing is the most important connection of all? Where are you going to get 90% of the information about what as a follower you're going to be doing? The hand on your back. From the leader's hand that's on your back. Your past. Our past. The cacophony of all of those wounded, injured selves in the past. And just like the dancer in a dance hall is trusting the partner because she's dancing blind, we're dancing blind in life. And it's about really knowing in your bones that love is all there is. Nothing out there exists but love. God is love. However you define love. You are love, having a physicalized experience. And love is not going to steer you into a wall, a pole, or other dancers. And it's trusting that life is going to lead us perfectly where we need to go. We may not like it, some of the things that we go through, but if we trust and relax into the hand that life has on our back, and know that whatever it is we're experiencing it for a reason. And the reason is always going to be to open to greater understandings, release a truth or belief that we're holding for ourselves that isn't true, bring healing for ourselves or others, whatever. It's about relaxing into it. Because it's in our past. I mean, we've all been beat up and banged up by life in various ways. And instead of running from it, like I know I'm sure guilty of, because I want to get over there and away from this back here. Well, but this back here and everything that I've experienced is what holds the wisdom. And once I really began relaxing into my past, relaxing into the cacophony of all of my selves, all of that, and trusting that life is leading me where it's leading me, so I can call upon the wisdom of this cacophony of selves to make better choices in the now. Because it's about now. All we have is now. But while all we have is now, with our loose arms, if we're relaxing into our past, now we have the wisdom. And if we are open, and Master Deborah has talked a lot about feeling. When we feel something that's icky, when we cross paths or have an interaction with a person, a situation, whatever, that just doesn't feel right, it feels off in some way, rather than jumping into our mind, because I can tell you from experience, when I'm thinking, I cannot dance. I cannot dance. Literally, everything in my body short circuits out. I can only dance when my mind is totally quiet and I am present in alignment, relaxing into the hand, maintaining that connection. It's the only time I can dance. The minute my mind gets involved, I'm toast. And so when we dance with life, it's the same way. Thank the mind, remind the mental mind that we're learning how to do things a little bit differently, that it's still needed, and we're going to call on it when it's needed, but right now we're going to feel. And this feels icky. So based on the wisdom that I've gained from the cacophony of all of these selves that have gone through this life so far, look at what we've gone through so far, individually and collectively. We've got a lot of wisdom. And if we relax into that wisdom, you'll know what to do because you'll know what feels right.
Yeah. So in a sense, what you're saying is what you're relaxing into and trusting into is the wisdom you've gleaned from your past and your relationship to the experiences of your past and what that has given you through that relationship.
Yes. And once I started doing this, it was interesting because I have had people re-enter my life. And, in one way or another, sometimes briefly, sometimes, it may just be for a phone call. It may be for a few months. But in relaxing into the past, it can be like, yeah, I remember this. I know how this feels, and I'm not going to do this again. I'm going to make a different choice. And it's not about trying to change out there. You're not ever going to change out there. Ever.
Right.
It's not about them, whoever them is. It's about you. And if you're not, when we don't relax into our past, then the tendency, at least my tendency has been, when situations and patterns tend to repeat, then it's like, oh, well, I can make it different this time. And so I would tend to repeat old patterns and behaviors, even if it was the same pattern and behavior just with different faces. But once I began relaxing into my past, then I could see it coming a mile away and go, yeah, I don't want to play with that anymore.
Nice.
And once I made the decision...
Note the power in that.
Yeah. I don't want to play. I don't want to play with this anymore.
Yeah. And
I
just
could feel that like in the arm. That's the being relaxed while in alignment and relaxing into the past. So yeah, let's take a minute and just feel that. I don't want to play with that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Because even going back just to, a sentence or two ago into what you said about it's never out there. So often, especially if we're in a relationship with somebody and they're doing something wrong, we think we need them to change in order for us to be able to have healing and have peace in our lives. Where we want them to change because what they're doing is wrong. It's not about me. And yet, just think about where you're giving your power, who you're giving power to in order for you to have peace. Well, I can't have peace until this person changes. So you've just given them all of your personal power to affect your ability to have peace and healing in your life. So essentially what Amina Deb is saying here is, you know what, take that back. Bring that back into yourself. You have the power. You have the power. Rest into your past, your relationship with your past, all of the wisdom that all of the cacophony of yourselves have gleaned from that past, and rest into that and bring them together and trust.
Yeah.
So
trust the dance
take
of
your
life.
Power back and feel that.
It's amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. And I want to just make a brief statement about the mind. Touch on that again, because what we're talking about it's a somatic feeling from your body, all of your body. We're talking about embodiment. This is embodiment, folks. This is embodiment. Your mind can't embody diddle squat. Your mind, our minds want to neutralize and distance things. It's our mind that wants to control out there. It is this that really is the source of the distortion that's created. And it's the source that causes us to make the same choices and repeat old patterns with new faces. Again, that's our mind. If we move into really, and I literally walk around the house now, with, are my shoulders pointing straight left, straight right? Am I pulling up, from the dantian, from that chi, hara space? Am I pointing my spine straight up? Am I walking, with using the muscles of my thighs rather than leaning forward and then taking steps because I'm falling forward? I literally practice walking like that. Because if you practice walking like that and feel it and get used to feeling just how you walk around the room, if you get used to keep bringing your consciousness back to that, how am I walking? Then whenever situations arise, I personally then find it easier to pick up on, because that's what dancing is. You're picking up on the subtleties. You're communicating with your partner. It's a subtle communication without words. You're communicating with your partner through your bodies. You're allowing the music. You're allowing your physical being to feel that music, to feel the rhythm. And then you're moving. And it's the same in life. We're communicating with life all the time, whether we know it or not. And that's why, we don't oftentimes feel empowered, because like Master was saying, we're trying to control out there. We've given our power away. If we take it back within our bodies and feel how we walk, feel how we're moving, relax into the past. Let our past, let our pain, let our wounds be a cushion that supports us, saying, yeah, we don't want to do this again, girlfriend, boyfriend. We can make a better choice here.
Beautiful.
It's living from that space that then opens up a new future. The future is going to take care of itself as long as we are present in this now, in this moment. And the future is just going to unfold in these miraculous, synchronistic ways, because we hear, a lot about, at least I do, that there is only now. There is no past. There is no future. There is only now. But here we are in physical form, having a physicalized experience where there is a space-time continuum. But it's our hearts. It's our moving in this way. It is relaxing into our past and allowing the future to unfold in miraculous ways that we unite through our physical bodies, the past and the future, by living in the now. And we can only live in the now when we stay out of our minds and feel what's going on. And the fun thing for me about dancing, as a follower, is I don't know what's coming. I don't know what the lead is going to do. I don't know if he's going to put me through a turn, if he's going to do spins with me. We're going to do grapevines. I don't know. I don't have any idea at any point in time what he's going to do. And it's that surprise that is what makes dancing so much fun. I have danced with people who know maybe about 3 moves. And you know the moves they're going to make. And you pretty much can, after one song, pretty much when they're going to bust each move. And let me tell you how boring that is. If you want to live an exciting life, truly exciting, really miraculous life, if you want to see miracles unfold before your very eyes, dance with life. Dance with it. Relax into it. Trust that it's not going to lead you into poles, walls, and other people. That whatever experience it's leading you through in the moment, trust it. Open to it. Because if it's leading you to, and again, I'll speak from experience, when these months I've been led back through things that were really painful, once I've leaned into it and trusted it and not tried to run away from it, I've made different choices. And things happened and unfolded in my life, and I would sit amazed, going, oh my God. I never would have put this with this. I never would have had this greater understanding about the bigger picture if life hadn't steered me through these murky, icky, choppy waters. Because I relaxed into it, I came through it. Yeah, I might have cried my eyes out and beat my fists and kicked my feet on the floor for a day or two. But I still trusted the process. And by relaxing into it and trusting it and knowing in my bones that there was a reason, I was like, oh my gosh, I see a much bigger picture now than I ever would have seen had I not just been through what life put me through. And then when I see others kind of in that space around me, then really all I need to do is just hold space for them and hold the bigger picture, because now I see a bigger picture. And so I can open my heart in love and patience and go, yeah, they're just trying to back lead right now. They're trying to find their balance on the spins and twirls, and that's okay. If they don't ask, I don't say a word. I just love them and hold the bigger picture and say, you'll get through it. And there's no hurry. There's no hurry. Yeah. Because ultimately, it's about becoming a self that is completely at home in this physical world. And then from this new place of embracing life as it is, not how you want it to be, but dancing with what you're given, that you gain. We all have an opportunity to gain perspectives and tools that allow us to carve out a new world for ourselves and others, because we're coming from the place of heartfelt service. It's about being joyous and free and fluent and engaging and really bringing all that we are to the table, warts and all. Do I lose my balance sometimes dancing with partners? Yeah. But that's important too, because then that shows me where I wasn't paying attention or didn't keep my level 5 connection. Because it's our job, if we're really going to be authentic in life, and we're meant to be authentic in life, because this is the game, this is the journey that we're all on here, to become authentic in life. And you can't do that. None of us can do that unless we're willing to maintain a level 5 connection to everything that happens. Connect with it. Relax into it and feel it. And understanding that, it's not about out there. It's about, and Fazia talks about the stew and the soup of life frequently. And it's really understanding that this soup of life is what matters. And what matters is what we bring to that soup, what flavors we infuse that soup with. That's what matters. and it's not always going to be perfect. It shouldn't be. It wouldn't be fun if it was.
Yeah.
And and we do that through our hearts when we're able to be faithful to that cacophony of all of ourselves, and to be faithful to what has been, and then carry that wisdom forward and live through it as a process of embracing a new reality and dancing with life. And understanding and really knowing that our past is constantly influencing us. It's constantly offering to deliver us through these big changes if only we'll relax into it, if we'll connect with it, and keep that connection no matter what. Keep that connection with life.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Amina. So I want to give people an opportunity now to just, again, returning their attention to this light and love and compassion that's here and available for you, as Deb's words and transmission are also resting into your field there. And take a moment to rest into this soup and to breathe it in and to just let it, what feels like is true for you, to rest into you and absorb into your pores and into your consciousness, and really help to guide and inform you there. And as you just rest into this ocean of divine light and unconditional love and eternal compassion that is here and available for us at all times and concentrated in this moment in our circle, just rest into that and let the words settle in for you. Let the transmission of the words and the energy, let this just infuse into your soup and into the air that you're breathing, and take in what is perfect for you, for your mix. And just want to emphasize trust as we're resting into the hand that will lead us. We're resting into the past in order to allow the hand that is there to lead. And just notice what comes up for you as you rest into this, as you try to orchestrate this or fall into this or rest into this in your own being and try to allow this. Just notice what comes up for you. And just tune into your heart, tune into the sensations of your body, and to let your mind be the witness, the observer. Feel your heart, feel your body, and if there are any of the fears or the expectations that are from the past that are not about the present moment. Or, there's one thing to be in the experience of your relationship to the past, but sometimes that's the pictures of the past itself that creep in and keep you from resting into your experience of it. So for those things that keep you from resting into and gleaning the wisdom from your experience, let's just take those in this moment and offer those with a prayer or an intention into the center of our circle, and call directly on your source, on your guides, on your helpers, and ask for help in releasing whatever it is that may be keeping you from resting into your past and really gleaning the wisdom that your body and your heart are holding about your experiences. And offer that into the center of our circle for cleansing, for healing, for purification. And as this is being released from you, breathe in this essence of divine light, of unconditional love, of eternal compassion, and of divine truth, al-haq. And let the truth emerge from within you, because truly that truth is breathed into you when your being was breathed into physical form. That has been guiding you all along. This is the beauty of really keying in to the difference between the pictures of your past and your relationship to it. Because when you can release the attachment to the pictures and the attachment to the stories, and be present with how your being relates to it. It's all about perspective there. And at the innermost part, the self, the highest self of you that is doing the relating, is the you that knows about love and knows about connection and knows about safety and knows about truth, knows about honesty, knows about integrity, knows about peace. That you is the one that is doing the relating, and all of that other stuff that tells you how you relate ultimately tells you about the part of you that knows the truth. So as you let go of the attachments to the pictures and the stories, it doesn't mean you're absolving other people of responsibility or forgetting so that you won't be aware of it if it should arise again or come back in. It just means that you are meeting it from a different perspective. You're actually meeting yourself from a different perspective. So rest into that. Make your prayer and your intention, and we call on our source. Please release the attachments, the pictures, the voices, the belief patterns that are not in the highest and not serving the deepest truth. And fill us with your light, with your love, with your compassion, with your truth. Give us the strength, the trust, and the power to rest into this life that you have so divinely orchestrated and perfectly orchestrated for us, to give us everything we need to learn, to grow, to embody your light and your truth, and to realize the evolution for our souls and for the consciousness of our planet. Deep breath with that, breathing in that light and love and compassion into your heart. And as you exhale, relax, release, and soften and drop into your body, being present, feeling, deepening your trust. And let's just take a moment for gratitude, to give thanks for whatever you may have received in the way of the wisdom, of the guidance, of the trust, of the healing, and also for whatever you have released that was not serving your absolute highest self and deepest truth. And I'm going to wrap this part and end the recording so we can come into our Q&A time with Amina Deb. For those who are listening to the recording, I want to thank you for listening. Thank you all for listening and for being here. And please stay for the Q&A if you're on live with us. But for those of you listening to the recording, you're welcome to join us on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. U.S. Pacific Time. You can find information for joining the live calls at joyfullylivingwellness.com. joyfullylivingwellness.com, 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern, 7 a.m. U.S. Pacific. While you're there on the website, pick up your copy of the 10 Spiritual Principles of Our Human Existence. It's a one-sheet, 10 principles to remind you of the truth of who and what you are and what this life journey is about. There are way too many things in this world that bombard us with messages that will take us into the fears and away from the love and the connection, and put us off balance and out of our bodies. And so we owe it to ourselves to put that reminder where we will see it and remember to breathe and be present in ourselves and understand and trust in the truth of who we are and what this life is about. So with that, I'll close for today, and I'll close the recording. Excuse me. Close the recording and open for the Q&A.